Good morning, it's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine. Thanks so much for joining me this morning, whether you are going to hop on live here in a minute or catch my replay. Today I am using the Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper from Sale-A-Bration and the Special Moments stamp set from Sale-A-Bration, and we're going to make an easel card. So let's just show the stamp set really quick. I did feature this a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to feature it again since it's so amazing. 21 stamps, all sentiments, and you can get it for free with a $100 order between now and February 28th, 2022. So I'll have the link below on where to shop. And this one's just great because it's got so many different sentiments. So you can pretty much use it pretty much through, for any paper crafting. So hey, good morning, Elaine. Thanks for tuning in. To all of you in New England where I am, hope you're all being safe digging out from Snowmageddon. Actually, you know, I thought it was going to be actually worse. We definitely have a lot of snow. There was a blizzard, There was a lot of, wind and blowing and drifting of snow, but they kept saying like 2 to 3 feet. And granted, there are places that have that much, but we didn't north up here. So here's the paper. This is 12 by 12 Daffodil Afternoon designer paper that you can get for free with a $50 order. So just top to bottom, this is the reverse side. So you got a pretty floral and then this little pattern on the other side. So here's a look at the paper. I'm going to be featuring this paper this week as my product of the week. So if you have the little Sale-A-Bration brochure in front of you, the page 4 is where you'll see the designer paper, and you see the little icon free with a $50 purchase. It does have a suggested here that it does coordinate with the Daffodil Daydream bundle, which is $54.75 US. in the January to June 22 catalog. So if you got the bundle, you could get the paper for free, but you can, any $50 order satisfies it. And then on page 14 is where you'll find the, let me get there really quick, the Special Moments stamp set free with a $100 order. So it's any $100. And let me show you the card, and then I'm going to point my camera down. So it's a little easel card. So I'm featuring, I kind of have another mashup going on. I used some punches and dies and then the paper and the stamp set. So I want to show you how to make this pretty card. And since there's so many sentiments in that stamp set, you really can choose any one you want. So I'm going to point my camera down and we'll get started. Okay, I just want to find myself in my feed, and I know I'm here. I saw myself pop up, so here I am. Okay, oh, good morning, Janine. You're here too. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I forgot to show, I do have my Winnie the Pooh, like, snow coffee mug filled with tea, so I'll show that at the end. So here's the card, and let's just jump right in. It's definitely not hard at all, but there's a bunch of layers, and you could, you totally could, embellish this to your heart's content. The paper that I chose, let me just show it really quick. It's a 3 by 4 piece of designer series paper, and it's just so beautiful. I didn't even embellish too much since the paper is just so gorgeous. So, but I want to do my stamping first, and I decided to stamp directly on the designer series paper. And like I said, there's so many sentiments. I actually had a hard time choosing, and you know what, live I might actually change my choice since I already did a birthday earlier. I'm just going to take my birthday off my block and do a thinking of you. So this is what happens when you're kind of live on the fly here. So let me find my thinking of you. I haven't inked that one up yet. It's over here. One thing I should point out is, there's my thinking of you, is that a lot of our stamps at the bottom, if you see a little image here, it says images at 95%. So sometimes you're looking at this and you might hold a punch, a reverse of a punch up to see if it fits. So make sure you look at the bottom of your stamp case to see the size, because that's one of the first things I do when I start kind of designing of what I want to do. I look to make sure what I have going on there. So I'm just going to get my thinking of you on my block. And I'm going to stamp in Memento on this little strip of Designer Series paper. Now, the measurements will all be below. There's a couple strips of Designer Series paper. This is the larger one. So it's 1 by 4 3/4. Bring over my Memento. Whoops, sorry if I'm shaking the table a little bit. Try not to do that too much. Okay. Well, might just add a little tiny bit more. I'm just going to go to one side. Oh, well, that didn't come out as great as I liked, but that's okay, and I'm just going to go with it. I do not have an extra strip. So let's actually get all these pieces together, because this is going to be the front of the card, so I'll kind of go in order. I have a basic black that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. My Designer Series paper that's 3 by 4. You guys are going to thank me because I got a new liquid glue. Oops, brand new. See what happens when it's brand new? Whoop. I was crafting yesterday during the storm, and I kept having to like poke my glue with a push pin. So I keep a push pin, and I have a little caddy here, and I keep a just office supply push pin, so when my liquid glue gets clogged up, I can give it a poke, but I must have done like 20 pokes yesterday. So I got a brand new liquid glue just for you. We're just going to layer these pieces on, and then I'm actually going to layer this piece across. And I kind of want to, I don't want to cover up all the beautiful flowers, so maybe like there. And I only kind of want glue in the middle because my ends are going to hang off a little tiny bit. So, and I can get the mat. Let me get the mat out of the way. It's distracting. Okay. Oh, now I can see that I need to clean my table. So, that looks pretty good. Whoops. Okay. Nope, this way. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to do the inside next, and I'm going to bring over my Seal Plus for this. Hey, good morning, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in this morning. So I have a piece of Very Vanilla. That's actually one of the other things I loved about this paper and why I chose to feature it, because it uses Very Vanilla. We do not have enough Very Vanilla, and I'm going to put that down for a second and do my liquid glue. We don't have enough Very Vanilla papers in our arsenal, so when a paper uses Very Vanilla, I'm like all over it. So just a little bit of liquid glue. This is the other piece of designer paper I mentioned. It's 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then, did I say the vanilla was 4 by 5 1/4? So I'm going to go almost all the way to the bottom and get this on here. And, well, I think I'm going to do that at the end. So let me show you the card base of how we do the easel, of how I'm doing this easel, I guess, and then we'll glue this inside. So it's a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 piece of pale papaya as my card base. And what I have done is just scored it as normal at 4 1/4, but I've also scored it over at 6 3/8. Okay, so we want to just make sure we fold on all of our score lines. And for this one, I'm going to use my bone folder just to make sure I get a good crisp score. And then I'm going to fold on this one too and make sure I have a good crisp score. So again, the measurements will be below. So this is going to be my easel top. And then this is going to be my inside. So this is where I'm going to put that vanilla piece I just was working with. So let's get that in here with a little bit of Seal Plus. I hope you're having a good week. So this is going to be the bottom. So let me go like this. Besides Snowmageddon, it was pretty quiet here overall. And what's crazy is I think they're saying our weather is going to potentially get up to like 50 later this week. So it's kind of like we have all the seasons in 1 week around here. Okay, so I wanted to do something at the bottom. This is going to be the easel. Okay, let me step back and glue the other piece on so you can kind of get the idea. So here's the designer series paper and cardstock piece we did earlier. And I want to glue this on, so this bottom piece of designer series paper is kind of at my seam. So I'm going to use that as my guide. And I only want adhesive at the bottom here, okay, of my basic black layer. And we're going to line that up. Since I'm using the liquid glue, I have time to kind of sort of wiggle it where I want it. Maybe. That's about right. So that's going to make the easel part. But I want to do the bottom, so I have something where this will stand up. So I hemmed and hawed about this and wanted to use a label. And I've been using my painted labels dies for another project, so I had this out. I am going to put 6 dimensionals on here. And again, you guys, I got a brand new sheet of dimensionals just for you. I use a lot of dimensionals, but they come 3 sheets in a pack. I think there's 400, and it's like $4. So they're a great investment. But you just got to be careful with these little backings that come off, that you get them in the trash can, or they'll end up all over your house. Ask me how I know. Okay, and then this is just going to go about in the middle. And hey, good morning, Celine. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And then I really debated with this. I don't have the dies that coordinate with the paper yet. So I went in my stash and I found the flowers and leaves punch. And I punched out 2 large and 1 small of my flowers. And I'm just going to flip them over, bring back my bone folder that I was using, hold in the middle, and kind of give them a little bit of a fluff. This is the In Color Shimmer ribbon. So I just cut it in strips, and then I can get it into my punch. This punch does 2 flowers, 2 sizes, and 2 leaves, 2 sizes. So I really find if I cut it into strips, it goes, I don't have that much waste, you know, it goes longer. So, and then I'm just going to pop these guys up. Well, I'm not going to pop them up. I'm going to adhere them all together with glue dots. So I'm just going to go 2 large at the bottom and then 1 small at the top. Oh, the wind is still howling a little bit here. So man, it wasn't that bad, but when it did howl, it was bad. Okay, and then I felt like this still needed something else. So I brought over some of the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. And I'm just gonna make a big like loopy bow with this, bringing in the black that's in the designer paper and in the cardstock that I used. So it's 12-inch piece of twine. So a big loopy bow, and I'm just going to kind of throw that on there across the middle with a glue dot. And I don't want too much bulk because I have a lot of bulk on the dimensionals underneath. And, oh, that guy doesn't like that one, so let's just go to another one. Whew. Everything is really cold also, since it was so cold yesterday. I just hunkered down, did some crafting, and then a couple glue dots to get this flower that I made on here. And then I'm going to cover up the middle with a matte black dot. So let me get these guys over here. I decided to do a large one on the flower, or yeah, these are 2 sizes. So a larger one, and you can just kind of keep it on the transfer sheet and then kind of get it over. And then I did a small one up near the sentiment. So I'm just going to fold this down for a minute and get this over here. Okay, so that's it. Now, obviously, if you were using different products, you could embellish to your heart's content, but having this little label up on dimensionals, it will stand up on its own to make an easel. So I did the thinking of you. Here's the happy birthday, which was my original sample. And again, all the measurements will be on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com. And I'll have a link if you are inspired to order the paper. Again, the Daffodil Afternoon Designer Paper. You can get it free with a $50 order. And then the stamp set I used, Special Moments, is free with a $100 order. And this is a special only during Sale-A-Bration through February 28th, 2022. Okay, so let me show you. I actually used this paper with some different colors. Oh, well, some of them are the same colors, but I wanted to show you before I sign off today too, just a couple different ideas you can do with the paper. I do need to add some embellishments to these, but this is the same designer paper, Daffodil Afternoon, and I just picked the 2 colors in this strip here, the Flirty Flamingo and the Pale Papaya. And if you want the measurements for this sketch, this was a Casing Tuesday sketch. I just reversed, you know, small, medium, large. I reversed the order of the strips. And it's on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com from earlier this week. And then I just did another one in more the basic black with the Flirty Flamingo. So I owe some thank you cards to a few people for their orders. So hopefully, if you get one of these cards in the mail, just if you place an order, you'll always get a thank you card from me in the mail. And then this one, I need to add the greeting in Pear Pizzazz, but I used the Pear Pizzazz in the vanilla with some of the paper. So a couple of different ideas you can do with the same stack of 12 by 12 designer series paper. Let me bring the camera back up to my face. Okay. So I'm also, because I'm featuring this paper as my product of the week, I will have a project with it on Casing Tuesday on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com. So make sure you follow me on Facebook at Create with Christine, or follow me on YouTube at Create with Christine. And if you need any help placing an order between now and February 28th, 2022 during Sale-A-Bration to get a freebie, make sure you shoot me a message. You can always order online with the link that will be in this description. But if you need help, please let me know. I'm glad to help out. Have a great week. For all of you digging out from the storm, be safe and be careful. See you next week.